Good evening and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this evening. If you hadn't seen the video earlier on, Celtic are in the cash. I will put the link to that in the comments so that people can go and watch it. But there is a poll going on. I know that St Mirren are playing Hearts at the current moment, so it might be a little bit quieter, but the fact that a lot of people are watching that game. But I did ask the question, can Celtic win the league by 20 points this year? There was a bit of news earlier that I saw. If you remember, Celtic were linked. We're going to get into the Meltdown stuff in a minute, but I want to do some Celtic stuff. Michael Ange Balbushaka says that he rejected Celtic's offer of a transfer. There was concrete interest from Celtic and the Royal Antwerp player, and he knocked it back because he's been injured seemingly, and he didn't want to join Celtic injured. He didn't want to join Celtic injured, so that's why he knocked it back. And there's talk that Celtic may go back from him in the summer. He says he missed the first 6 months of the campaign due to a muscle tear, and it was confirmed he confirmed he wasn't keen on moving to Celtic because he was still injured, despite Celtic pursuing his signature, which was interesting. Celtic interest was concrete, but I choose to stay, he told a Belgian newspaper. Leaving with January was not ideal for me. I would rather take good care of myself and get ready for the playoffs, and then we'll see in the summer transfer window. I'm still searching for sharpness in front of goal. It will come, but I'm happy that everything is going well and it feels good to be playing football again. So that just brings to light a bit of stuff that happened at the last transfer window. We'll move on for that one. Talking about Celtic, there was the TV pundits were talking about Celtic earlier today, and who's going to be player of the season? Who would be your? That should have been the poll. Who would be your player of the season? But let me see what a few of the pundits say.
Another good one.
It was, because player of the year, I know it's quite early, but actually Maeda would be right up there at the moment, wouldn't
he? He's peaking at the perfect time, you've got to say, and with the numbers that you're talking about, you can say that he's absolutely in the conversation for it. And for all the reasons, not just in terms of scoring goals and having an impact, what we've just spoken about, I genuinely think his quality has improved, this season.
Yeah.
And he just is, Brendan Rodgers has spoken about on a number of occasions as well, in terms of he's an absolute perfect professional, and he's an absolute joy and an incredible player to work with. And you understand why, because you can imagine he just no problem, and just his mentality and his personality is so level, key. But when he goes on the park, his performances are top level. And
they are top level. It was interesting. It was good to see that Dyson Maeda, the Sunstroked Heathen channel, done a video. He sits in the main stand and he does a lot of Celtic videos. He posted a video on Twitter of Dyson's son getting high five. His two sons getting high. Well, I don't know if it was his two sons or a son and daughter. His kids anyway. His kids were the mascots, Dyson's mascots at the game at the weekend, and every Rafe Rovers player high fived the two of them and wished them well. And Dyson Maeda took to Twitter today to thank the Rafe Rovers players publicly for being so kind to his kids.
You think what other Celtic players potentially would be up for player of the year? I know Alistair Johnson's been so consistent. Often defenders don't get the headlines, Alan. Maybe you'd love a right back to get player of the year overall.
It'd be nice.
Maybe you wouldn't love a Celtic player to get it, but it'd be nice for him to see a right back get it.
Darryl, it's whoever deserves it. That's what it is.
And then you get Callum McGregor, Nicholas Quinn. There's a few.
You're missing it. The most obvious one from Celtic is the standout this season so far is Nicholas Quinn.
There we go.
I just mentioned that, Michael, your favourite player. I just said Callum McGregor, Nicholas Kuhn as well would have to be right up there in the reckoning. But anyway, we'll see what happens. We've got a few more weeks to discuss that one as time moves on. I just want to touch on this massive Champions League night coming up, Alan. Bayern Munich, a team, I'm sure you've seen them this season against Aston Villa. Villa got a brilliant result against them in the group stage. Feyenoord, I think another team that got a result recently against Bayern. I spoke to Derek Ray earlier on, our German correspondent, the excellent Derek Ray, who obviously does so much German football, so he gave me the kind of inside track on Bayern. But it's a fantastic night to look forward to. And if Celtic can find their very best form, we know, Alan, that they will cause Bayern a lot of problems.
Can we cause Bayern a lot of problems? Talking about that, Ali Johnson, we'll get on to Rangers Meltdown in a minute, but I want to listen to what Ali Johnson says, because he's absolutely buzzing for the game, isn't he? He says that Celtic Park's going to be rocking.
Yeah, as soon as we got through in the league phase and we knew that we were going to obviously be qualified, it was funny. We got into the Villa change room and realized that we were either going to get Madrid or Bayern. It was pretty exciting, and then to see our name get pulled against Bayern Munich. It's going to be a special match, and again, one of those ones that you're really excited just to be a part of and say that you're going to have a chance to be out there, because I think that we all can agree that Celtic Park's going to be rocking, and now it's up to us to go out there and give those fans something to cheer for. So no, look, we're all super excited for it. It's a massive tie, and a great chance for us to go and show not only the rest of Europe but the rest of the world what we're all about as a team. So yeah, no, it's an exciting opportunity for us.
I was going to say you could be coming up against an international teammate, but I think Alphonso Davies might be injured. Have you spoken to him in the lead up to this at all?
Yeah, we talked a little bit actually. I'm not expecting him, especially for the first leg. We'll see for the second leg. But no, probably a positive for us. But at the same time, again, their squad's so deep. I think Rafael Guerrero's been playing at left back in the meantime, and he's been top player again for them, and has been for the past decade or so. So it's one of those ones you look at their squad and just looking at players of Fonzie's quality. I've obviously trained against him, played with him with our national team plenty of times. And yeah, it's a different level. He's truly a world-class player. I think he was world's best 11. He was 19 years old and a Champions League winner. He'd done all these things, multi-time Bundesliga winner. And yeah, you just see his level in training and you realize that, it's just, 18 more of guys like that. It's going to be difficult. And it's something that, again, we're mentally preparing for. We know it's not going to be an easy task, but something that, we're excited for. And obviously, for me, chance to play against a fellow Canadian, it's at this level, it's pretty rare for us, and it's something that I'm hoping that he's going to be fit then for the second leg, so that we can go at it against each other.
Is it quite obvious in international training when you talk about him being that step up, that level up, when you see him up close playing with them, playing against them and training? Is it just quite clear just how good he is and how good that level is? Yeah,
I think instantly just the eye test right away, you go up and you stand beside these guys, and it's been similar when you play against the top Premier League teams. When we played against Dortmund and things like that, you're just in the tunnel and the size of these guys, the presence they have. They really are some of the best athletes in the world, and you go up against that, you can really see the level. Okay, that's different. And Fonzie instantly is like that, and just in terms of his physicality, his just his physical traits are unbelievable, and then you match in how quick his feet are and how he sees the game. Again, he's been at Bayern now for, it's got to be getting close to maybe 6 or 7 years. Like, you've been in that kind of environment for that long, training against the top players in the world. Just his footballing IQ and everything, I've always been really impressed by, training with him and just seeing the game through his eyes. And again, as a fellow fullback, I like to lean on him and see kind of what he's doing. But I've experienced it. I see teams will double team him nearly when he's a left back for our national team. It's unheard of, but when we play games in CONCACAF, they'll do that, and oftentimes they'll send their best winger onto my side. So I get that. It's just like it's a mismatch against Fonzie, so they try and pick on me instead. And it's something that comes with the territory. But yeah, he's a super talented player. And again, that's what Bayern Munich's all about. They're going to have a lot of those players, so we're ready for that.
We're ready for that. And we're ready for something else also. We need to listen to a little bit of a meltdown. We need to listen to a little bit of a meltdown from Captain Tav himself. Let's get it on.
When it started, Stevie. James, fans are already calling this one of the biggest and humiliating results in Rangers history. Already asking for the manager's resignation. You're the captain of the club. How do you respond?
Oh,
It's
St
not
Mirren have
acceptable
just
today.
scored
Simple as that.
against Hearts in the cup.
Can't be losing a game against a championship team at home. Can't be shooting a goal 30 odd times and not being clinical enough, and can't be just conceding maybe a couple of chances against us, then we concede. So it's unacceptable.
You understand how the fans will react to this. What do you say in response to them?
It's rightly so that the reaction that the fans, are aggrieved at us, and we fully got to take it, be responsible for what happened today. It's not good enough. It's another cup competition that now we're out of, and it's not acceptable that we can't be going season after season and not picking up these trophies. So we have to reflect massively. Through this season it's been inconsistent. Where we have a run of good games, then we hit a speed bump, and you can't do that as a Rangers team and as Rangers players. You have to be consistent throughout the season if you want to compete for trophies.
Is that a big disappointment, the fact that is now another trophy that the club won't win this season?
Yeah.
How tough is that to take when that is the
How
main
tough is
club
that to take?
Go out and try and get those trophies back?
Yeah, it's not good enough. It's simple as that. It's not good enough. We've got to be competing for these trophies, and today was shocking from all of us. And I've got to take account of myself on the penalty, and and take account of my performance, and everyone else has to do that who was asked to play today. Everyone has to take accountability.
The anger from supporters is clear at full time. What do the squad, the manager need to do to try and repair those relations with the fans?
You've got to win games, and that's what the fans want us to do. They want us to win games and show performance that's worthy of their backing.
James, it was only a couple of weeks ago you got into the Europa League top 8. I mean, for you when you're on that pitch, are you able to understand, explain why you have that intensity in those games, and yet you're struggling today to? I know you had a lot of shots, but still struggling to break Queens down. Is that frustration for players that's playing out?
Yeah, it's the inconsistency that I was talking about before. It's European football is obviously a different games, but you've got to keep that consistency throughout the season if you want to be challenging. We can't be having a couple of chances and we concede of a second phase of a set piece, and we can't be wasteful in the final third, because there was too many shots. And the keepers pulled off some good saves today, but we should do more to be putting that ball in the back of the net with the quality that we have.
But the quality they have, the quality that you have, what an absolute nonsense for him. Anyway, we are going to do a little bit of a meltdown live tonight, because there is a couple of them running about live, so let's listen to this one first of all.
Possibly, you're always looking for some sort of thread, some sort of thing you can point at. It's kind of human nature. I've calmed down now, kind of hyperbolic statements out the way, so we should get serious. And there's evidently, there's a couple of different things, right? There's evidently a problem with this particular manager getting his ideas across, right? If those ideas actually genuinely exist. Then there's the quality levels that we have within the squad, which are of wildly differing degrees of maybe some of the support think, right? Although maybe everybody's catching up that we are very, very far away from being any sort of decent team, right? You just get the odd game. And then there's the inherent project in the background, which is supposed to revamp and refresh the club, right? Now, the club have never stated it directly, but those types of transformations are 3-year projects, right? Genuinely. And this kind of result might be replicated, right? The question will be, is it replication by another manager or whatever? And I hope for better days, obviously, right? But to your point, yeah.
God, he's actually boring me. He is actually just boring me to death. So let's listen to this.
Same team, I feel, but pulling him off to put on a left back seems a strange decision as well.
Get Martindale now.
Back at left midfield when you're nothing each against lower opposition should be able to come on and do some sort of job, because we're supposed to be levels above, but it didn't. It's backfired on the manager. But it says last night is I think he's listening to the sports science department far too much.
We dig at the sports science guys again.
Say plenty to discuss, but there's only really one thing to discuss tonight, I suppose. But please do, folks, get your comments in, and I'll bring up as many as I can. And if you want us to go down a different route and discuss something else, then get those comments in as well. Like I said, this is your show, so whatever you want us to talk about, we will discuss. I'm joined tonight by Brian and Stuart. Brian was with me while I was in the background on the afternoon rabble. Then Brian also done the women's show. So I'm not going to ask him how he is. Stuart, how are you doing?
I'm very well, actually. In a personal way, I'm very well. I'm back in the dog's room after the last time we was on. Normally when you say I'm in the doghouse, folks will go, what have you done? But I have to come to the dog's room because it's his. But
anyway.
There is no introduction needed, as Chris Boyd simply says. He simply has to go. Welcome back to Fog Football. I seriously think we need a video
Not
every
simply
hour.
the best then, no?
No, simply depressed. Get that straight in there. I think we need a video every hour demanding this guy's sacking. Where is he? You know what I mean?
Every hour, on the hour, top of the button, Clement out, hashtag it.
You know, there's so many references to Austin, Stone Cold Steve Austin and Clement. It's like McMahon told Bischoff, you need to bring Austin back. Getting through to the knockouts, people don't make a big deal of that as a good. See, to actually compare him and Clement, it's actually disgraceful to Gerrard.
The term rebuild shouldn't be getting used in a defeat to Queen's Park.
Nope, it shouldn't be, and that is exactly what we're going to get into right here with Chris Boyd's comments. And I quote, he just doesn't get it, does he? Even after losing to Queen's Park and crashing at the Scottish Cup in one of the biggest shocks in Scottish football history, Philip Clement still hasn't got his head around what it means being a Rangers manager. Or at least what it should be about. Shots on target, possession, rebuilds. Wow. If only the big Belgian thinks that's what matters on a day like this, like yesterday, then he's more deluded on this situation than I actually thought. End of quote. Right, so let's just go it back there a wee couple of steps. Rebuilds. Clement in the presser talking about rebuilds. Right. I don't think... Well, there's no one on planet Earth that thinks you need a rebuild at Rangers Football Club to beat Queen's Park. Is there? Let's be honest. There ain't.
No, and Philippe Clement, like, he's not done.
I'm Philip Clement. Stoned in the afternoon, man.
I'm enough to think that.
Yo.
He can't seriously think he can come out and say rebuild and that saves his blushes.
All right. Do we remember the shots on target those teams had, or do we remember the fact they beat out the big team? They beat the big team. That's it.
I couldn't tell you how many shots Darvel had against Aberdeen, but it's a result you'll remember for a long time.
You know, it's ridiculous. Celtic beat Barcelona. You know what I mean? No one talks about the shots on target. You talk about the 2 goals, the 2-1 victory. And for Clement to bang on about shots on target, and rebuild should be dropped because it's clearly you're clearly building toward. Something's clearly being built there with decent players coming in.
Nah, I don't believe that at all.
First of all, before we go on to the whole world of what is our miserable season so far, a quick message out to Lewis. I think maybe yesterday we got our wires crossed with each other, buddy. So my apologies for that. I'm that kind of person that if I think I'm wrong, I apologise.
Well, so there was Hun on Hun action and we missed it. Hun on Hun action online.
I do it in a public
Listen,
forum or just
Lewis doesn't watch shows that he's not on.
That's Kilmarnock, that kind of teams. We'll go on a wee run.
And we're sitting here at Monday, 7:30 on a Monday night, and there's no news of either backing him or not backing him.
Ball situation into our box, and we couldn't cope with it.
Multiple man who might have got the Who Am I today on the afternoon rabble, who knows? It's about context. If your team is challenging for titles and has a bad day, you got on with it. They didn't sack Strachan after Clyde because he was top of the league. Yes, context is everything, Brian, but we get beaten in the League Cup final, we're out the Scottish Cup, and we're miles behind in the league. So we've got nothing to play for in February. Absolutely hot to play for in February. So the context of the situation is, why is Clement still Rangers manager? In what context does that make sense?
The context is he's had over 14, 15 months now to try and make us better, and you could argue actually we're not any further forward.
So they've made Rangers great again, not great again.
I can't say you're rating.
I don't think he was.
I know the biggest damning indictment is, right? There's going to be a Scottish Cup game tonight, and see after it, folks, there's a draw, and it's not going to say Rangers, it's going to say Queen's Park, and I think that's when it's going to hit like a ton of bricks.
Yep.
I think it's actually insane that Rangers aren't in this.
Right,
Rangers. No, it's not, and I mean, obviously Celtic went out in the last 16 last year to Killie, but see going out away to Killie at Rugby Park, man, it's not great to go. Any Rangers team should have been capable of winning that game. Bring back Stevie G. I would like to know what Billy's been thinking of all the other shite results this season, if this is the first time he wants Clement out the door.
Yeah, this is the first time he's had enough. He's like, nah, final straw has to go.
Right. He has to go.
It's the first time in a long time that we've had nothing to play for by February. It's a long time since that's happened. And I mean, it's all very well saying, context this, context that, but at the end of the day, we lost the League Cup final. We're out the Scottish Cup, and we're certainly not going to win the league now. So,
is this as good as the 2012 season?
There's nothing. The season. Well, if you can call playing for the Europa League a chance, you know what I mean. There's that's the only.
I've just reading the comment and it says, "Bring McLeish back."
It's not even a realistic chance. Let's be honest. But that is the only chance of silverware this season. So it's a dismal. I mean, even getting to the semi-final or the final of the Scottish Cup, you've at least something keeping you going until the end of the season. But I'm afraid it's just I just don't see how we haven't improved anything from when he's come in. We had a little uptake, obviously, with the new manager bounce when he first came in, and then he got the team in a really good position at the turn of the year, and then everything went pear-shaped, and ever since then it's just been some good results, some good results. It's just not consistent enough, and it's not consistent enough for a team that wants to challenge and win a league. I'm afraid you've got to go to places like Kilmarnock, like Dundee, and Ross County. That's the sort of places you've got to sometimes dig out a 2-1 win or a scrappy 1-0 win at any cost, and I'm afraid it just doesn't seem to. The thing that's so frustrating as well is he does really well in Europe. He does really well in. He went 7 or 8 games unbeaten in Europe, and then all of a sudden we come up against Dundee away and Motherwell away, and now Queen's Park at home, and just can't get a win. It's baffling to say the least.
Yeah, it is. It's these are Rangers.
Yeah, we do always seem to come back lethargic in disguises there, but I think it's a manager who is trying to fall back on stats to try and get a message across.
All of us on this podcast, I may be wrong, so you can shoot me down if I am, but I think all of us on this podcast, I said at some point, we've actually got a decent 4, 5, 6 players in this team that we feel can work going forward if they have the right other players around them. But
how many rebuilds do you need?
We're not seeing that under Clement. We're not seeing them reach their maximum under Clement. And actually, as someone who is going to come in and has proven in the past that he can switch up the attitude of certain players, he can get the maximum he can get the most out of the parts that he's got available to him. Is that more appealing, do you think?
See the entitlement for this lot for what. I think that they need a reality check. If you think back to the way that they were, back in the 1980s, before David Murray took over, and the financially doped years under David Murray, where David Murray invested none of his own money, it was all money for the bank, and put them in an unrealistic long-term position. And the mentality of the fans seems to be thinking that they had something then and they were entitled to it all the time. It's where Celtic have just done their thing, and the financial results that have come out today have proven that the boards have been right, but there's some decisions where the board need to get the finger out.
Right, and I just want to read this last one out here for Eric. Look at Eric. If Ridvan Yilmaz, a left back, is our best option, we are a goal down. We are in serious trouble. We can hardly keep the ball in the stand when he has a shot, never mind the goals. Ross McCausland should be slapping in his transfer request first thing this morning. End of quote. Right. See, I think there's a. Does that not just sum up how shite Rangers are that Ross McCausland should be handing in his transfer request because Red Van Yilmaz is getting picked ahead of him? Two shite bastards at the end of the day, man. It has to. McCausland's.
I think McCausland's alright. Like,
I don't. I think he's shite. But I think the fact that Red Van Yilmaz, his stock is it's dropped. There's no £4 million move to Turkey unless he wants teeth or a hair transplant or a fucking an actual football and ability transplant or something. Because it's no there. He can't afford to lose any feet. I tell you that much. He's a midget, but I don't know what's happened to this guy. Yefty, Yilmaz, Tav. What is it with Rangers is fetish in recent years with
kinky
fullbacks that don't know how to defend.
Anyway, that's enough of them for tonight. I've just closed the poll down on 300 votes. Can Celtic win the league by 20 points this year? 90% say yes. 9%, we lost 1% as always. 9% say no, we can't win the league by 20 points. I wonder why they're saying that. Let's jump into the comment section. I must say what's happening to the zombies is very acceptable to me. Oh, the tears. Yes, Paul, it is. It should be acceptable to anyone that lived through the 1990s. Could you imagine if we had YouTube? YouTube was only born in 1996, I think it was. YouTube came out. Could you imagine if YouTube was a big thing back in the days where Celtic were going through their trouble? Social media wasn't even around then. YouTube was just a baby, and I think that living this and enjoying it, any Celtic fan that went through the 1990s, they're making the 1990s look like it was just a weekend, a bad weekend away. In all reality, that's what it's like. They've been going on for what? This is 13 years now. 13 years of this absolute meltdown mayhem. It's the gift that keeps giving. And it makes what happened to Celtic back then and everything that we went through and the trouble and almost the old board want to move to Cumberslang. Yeah, obviously online, it was 2007, wasn't it? When we just... The dog meltdown was legendary. When you look at what we went through, almost moving to Cumberslang, just off the motorway, the board trying to come up with a new stadium, we're going to sell the ground because to redevelop it, and they had these big ideas, but they didn't have the cash to back it, thankfully, and we owed the bank £5 million. And it was David Murray and his pals at the bank that put the pressure on Celtic. And we paid the $5 million. We paid it. Fergus McCann paid it without owning one dime of Celtic. He wrote the cheque to the bank and said, there you go, there's your $5 million. Fuck off. And we should absolutely enjoy this. And for anybody, any Celtic fan to say, right, come on, I'd rather just listen to Celtic stuff. Fuck this pish. It's all about Celtic. This is about Celtic. This is about, absolutely relishing in their pain and every little bit of it. Did they do it to themselves? Yeah, they did do it themselves. Do you think that we could do a double liquidation? No, they'll not do a double liquidation. A great decision by Sevco Board to give Clement a 4-year contract last year. It was absolutely a blinder by the board. Leo Miles says that he's loving it, man. Big Des says the only thing I'm sailing after the main stand will be structural assessors. Fergus should have a statue. He should. I think that day will come when Cumberslang, no Cumberslang, Baz. Cumberslang. The arrogance and entitlement makes me choke with laughter after that shambles yesterday, says Stevie. And you know what, Dave? Here's hoping. Ian Campbell says, I'm the same age as you, Baz. I totally agree. Yep. It's true. It's revenge is the laughter of their children who will grow up to be Celtic fans. And that is it. Chilpel, never seen him before. But yeah, was it Chilpel said about Fergus? I think Fergus either needs I think we need to rename if we redevelop the main stand, we need to rename the main stand the Fergus McCann stand, and we need to rename the North stand the Tommy Burns stand. I think that, I mean, there's, I mean, I think everyone would be within an agreement with that. There's not many people that would say no to the main stand being called the Fergus McCann stand and the North stand being called the Tommy Burns stand. I do think that Tommy Burns does need his place in the history of Celtic. He's already got it, but I think that he deserves it. The man, he's a saint in my eyes. Anyway, they have had enough. Let's listen to this. Fans have had enough. Do the board care?
Baffling, yeah.
Baffling.
It 100% is baffling. And just to kind of swerve on to another point, just on top of that, from our very own channel member, Michel Charon, that's a great French accent, by the way.
Yeah.
At this point, realistically, Europe is our only chance of making money, and if we lose, if we want to close the gap, then the European money is necessary. At this point, Clermont is your best bet for last 8. Do you take that argument at all, Stuart?
I'll take the finance stuff of it.
Jim C, 70-year-old, and haven't laughed so much at 70-year-old. That's absolutely fantastic.
It's the only way we're going to make a few pound. I mean, I read something this morning. Was it PS said that we've reduced the wage bill by 12 million?
There's a comment on this podcast saying, "Use a lot turn up for Tav's testimonial because that's what he's sticking around for." The Tav testimonial. Oh my goodness, could you imagine that?
Surely it was enough money to bring somebody in January.
No, God, yeah.
I'm just thinking that. But going back to the point that Michel has put on there, that best bet for the last 8, it is probably the draw can be kind to us, maybe.
Philip Clement
that we get we're at home second, aren't we? If I'm right in saying. Yep. So we'll probably do what we do in Europe. Get a good result away, a decent result away from home, enough to bring back to Ibrox and qualify. But my main point in that whole thing is back to the players. Are the players producing what they are in Europe because it's a wider audience who's watching?
Because it's a wider audience.
So therefore, when they're playing the normal Scottish game, if it's not on the TV because we're at home, and why are they really trying? Because nobody's really, unless you're a scout in the ground, who's really watching it?
Scouts aren't sitting watching Rangers on telly. Is this guy for real? Scouts go to games, mate.
But whereas in the European games, there's all sorts of audiences around the world watching the games as they would have been against Man United, etc., and Spurs.
So you're saying that they're only playing to get a move, which would benefit Rangers then, really? Jesus God. The mindset of that lot are bonkers.
To answer some of the questions about bringing on the Red Van instead of Curtis, I don't think anybody can now get in the head of...
I've got to read this one out for Paul. The Taft testimonial will be called "The Big House is Empty." Has there ever been a worse Rangers captain? What a laugh watching Sevco get beat. Cheating ref did his best to deny that Queen's Park a penalty. Deserved the victory and should never be allowed near Football Park again. What is this guy spouting? Oof, man, the guy's he's got more whoppers than Burger King. I still followed the team home and away in the 1990s. It was torture. So I'm loving the zombies are going through Operation Mount Wellpass. Jude, Eddie, good. Eddie, there's still a lot of guys that I know that go to games right now that have followed Celtic since before the 1990s, and they still go week in, week out. They've been through it all, and they absolutely love the fact that they are going through what they're going through. Anyone that followed Celtic through the Macari years and Liam Brady will know this, what they're going through. I mean... It's about 10 times worse.
Of Mr. Clermont, of what he's thinking, because that on Sunday was no thought. And when I listened back to, did I listen to the interview live, or did I hear it on the show this morning when I listened to it? When he said about young Rice being young, and it wasn't a game for him, so we brought him off to protect him or something, I thought to myself, it's Queen's Park. If you're a young boy like Rice, who was always mentioned in the same breath as your boy Faye Motherwell, if he then is being took off for protection against Queen's Park, well, I'm sorry, the manager's got it all wrong. All wrong. The boy's a future, of course he is. So, and exactly what Brian says, so for the circus, just play football. Because you must have been doing a couple of flicks now in there. And I'm just wondering, obviously, if I don't have any insight information, but I'm just wondering, is the coaching staff saying to Iggy, look, less of the nutmegs, less of the flicks,
No.
just... No, I'm saying that, but why then has he all of a sudden... It's no coincidence that it's just because he's played out wide. He was playing out wide anyway, and he was dragging players in with him.
Oh, Jesus.
But again, that might still be harsh.
That might be harsh.
Well, to answer the question, the best I can, I suppose, is that if he didn't... Two things you can look at it. If he didn't want to stay in Italy... Sorry, if he wanted to stay in Italy, but was then said, no, you have to go to Rangers. It's player powers, because it's not as if he came for zero. What was it? 4.5?
Something like that.
£4.7 million.
Yeah.
So they were a fee getting offered. If he didn't want to come to Scotland, you just say to his club, nah, I've got 18 months left my contract, whatever it is. I'll
overcomplicate the coaching.
Disputing the fact, if you want to walk out, walk out. If you want to stay in, stay in.
Hey.
But I think if we were to do that again, I think the next home game is St Mirren, if I'm right, Brian, is it? No, is it St Mirren? Yeah. If you all want to walk out, we all walk out, or we don't walk in. One of the two. It's got to be, it's got to be the
They'll
fans
walk out.
in a nice way. But and I appreciate Scott's came back and said he wasn't talking about me; he was talking about Patrick Stewart. But if the fans want to make their point of view done, heard, seen, well, don't go into the stadium or walk out the stadium. But it's got to be in mass. It's not just got to be, the 400 or 500 Union Bells and a couple of round the rest of the stadium. It's got to be in mass. Get it arranged. Everybody walks away.
Everybody walks away. The club that don't do walking away are now saying that they are walking away. Let me just say, just running through some of these comments. It's half time. St Mirren against Hearts. I know somebody that's in a hot country right now. He'll be enjoying that. Dai's Maida's available to play Wednesday. No, he's not. I don't think so. Let me just do a quick search. Where did you see that, Sarah? Is she... Unless they've changed their minds, but I can't see it. The Huns don't do walking away, they do running away. I'm not saying anything about that, but we move on swiftly.
Well, the stature player that we're sort of expecting at Rangers, that's
really not. It's affecting my mood, affecting my Monday mornings. I'm just not putting myself through that, to be honest with you. It's meant to be my hobby. I'm meant to enjoy it. And at this moment in time, it's making me really angry, and I'm just not willing to put myself through it.
Joe, that's a good point that, season ticket renewals, I think folk will still renew. Well, there's certainly people that will renew, but there is hope, I guess, that fans will... Well, the hope that would be that the club will make a decision and do what needs to be done before that time, and we don't have to really... Because it's now it's just a poisonous and it's a cancer that he is the problem that the fans are going to turn on and probably vocally turn on.
Well, that's it. You still got, 13 games, league games to go.
Guys, and breaking news.
Incredible.
Shut the breaking news. Wait a minute.
Absolutely.
Which one is
nothing to play for. Zero.
Wait up. Breaking news. Celtic Football Club Just minutes ago, Celtic FC tonight confirmed that it has successfully appealed Dyson Maida's 2-match suspension that had originally been reduced to 1 match, meaning that Dyson Maida is available to play on Wednesday night. Yes! 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 There is a God! Yes! Breaking news on the channel. Sarah, you were right. Celtic tonight confirmed that it successfully appealed Dyson Maida's 2-match suspension. The original suspension has been reduced to 1 match, meaning that Dyson is available to play on a Wednesday night. He's back. Yes! Come on. Come on. Jesus, there we go. Absolutely buzzing. Buzzing. We've got our best team. The best team is absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant news. Brilliant news. That's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Am I staying on for the draw? I'm not staying on for another 45 minutes. I might come. Nah, we'll look at it in the morning. I'm up early for work tomorrow. That was absolutely brilliant news. Big shout out to Sarah who broke the news on the channel. She did say that it's breaking news that Dyson Maida is playing, is available. Sarah said it's confirmed Dyson Maida is available for that game on Wednesday night in the Champions League. Celtic will be buzzing. The fans will be buzzing. Absolute best week ever. The best week ever. Celtic goes through to the next round of the Scottish Cup. We're in the playoff position for the last 16 of the Champions League, and everyone's sending me it now. Oh Jesus! Everyone's sending me it. Right, lads, it's. Absolutely brilliant news that Sarah, can we recall Iwata? No, we can't recall Iwata. Meltdowns in Maida. Meltdowns in Maida. Maida is back. That's the big news of the night. I think we'll just end it on that. I think I am going to end it on that. I'm going to end it on some good, happy news that Dyson Maida. And I'm going to, yes, I think we should just retire it on that for the evening. You had steak pie? What are you talking about? Just need to beat all Bundesliga. Yes, can we beat them? There will be a video out tomorrow morning. I don't think I'm going to be able to do a live in the morning due to work commitments. So check out the video in the morning when we can talk about a little. And I was just watching. Oh no, they're showing the replay of the Rangers game. Feel like dancing, says Tarmac. Wilson QW, I was sold. Does he get it? Take it easy, Baz. Another one says Celtic 88. Schloop motherfucker says, oh my god, Maida is a machine. Yes. Taft's testimonial, penalty shout. Bring on Uber Krauts. Cheers, Baz, and the one Celtic fans view community is the one like no other. Cheers, Big Des. You are one of the biggest members of this community. And on that note, he is back. He is playing in the game. Have an absolutely fantastic evening, Celtic fans all around the world.
Lit, roll up to the party.